Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome, ahlan sahlan, to the panel appointment today. The question that we're discussing is the strategies for success in delivering mega projects in the holy cities. And we have with us today Sheikh Khalid Al Amoudi, CEO of Jabal Omar. Jabal Omar is, as you know, a fascinating case study, an exercise that commenced in 2007 with the expropriation of land in Mecca and has continued its journey to this day. And Al Medina, a very ambitious PIF project in Medina next to Masjid al-Nabawi, and will comprise a significant redevelopment and introduction of new stock into the Medina hospitality market. So I'd like to begin with the question for the panel. What are the key factors that have contributed to the success of your mega project? Now, I appreciate your projects are at different cycles in the development life cycle. But Sheikh Khalid, would you like to speak about the key factors that have contributed to the success of Jabal Omar?
Try this one. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, guys, for having me today. I think such a question might need 2 to 3 hours, if that is allowed, but I'm not sure if that will allow us.
We have 17 minutes left.
Yeah. So just to make things, hopefully, in an executive summary approach, I would see that first we need to start with the financial feasibility and the feasibility of the whole project as a start. And we need to make sure that the team that is leading such an exercise are not emotionally engaged into the development, not emotionally engaged into the engineering side, not emotionally engaged also with, we need to just do serving through such a project. So that is a financial feasibility once. Once this is very clear, I think you need to go to a next step, which is the operating model that you want to decide. So many ambitious projects that I can see, and I think that's, again, in Jabal Omar today. I would be very grateful today to the team that we got today, that we become expert of doing things that you don't need to do in Mecca. So we become expert of not to do in Mecca, things that you're supposed not to do. And accordingly, that might be part of a strategy you need to take, that what things that you're supposed not to do to reflect learning. So your operating model is very clear today because so many mega projects have decided to do a developer role. However, it can work, factoring so many things such as the cost of land, cost of financing, and feasibility of the project. And some of them have decided to go to a master developer role, which I think the wiser and where is, the right positioning has to happen. Once this is very clear, no emotion around it, you need to move to the execution stage, which is how to manage stakeholders, how to have a strategy on the execution of the projects, who is and managing all financer, contractor, government relations. These stakeholders has to have a very clear plans to work with. And definitely, talent has to be very crucial part of identifying exactly what you want to do. So you need to decide, is it in-source, is it outsourced, what kind of mix you need to have in order to manage. So these may be high level now, 3 to 4 points that I recall that we need to follow. However, icebergs, each one of them, and we need to go to the detail of how to bring this to a next level.
Thank you, Sheikh Khalid. Nadeem, it's early days for you at Al Medina, and I know you're coming in to relook at the strategy. And so I wanted to ask you about the positive support of the municipality, of the Medina Amana and the Higher Development Authority of Medina in contributing to the success of your master plan, because it is a unique master plan in Medina, and it's approaching the built environment in a unique manner. So could you tell us a bit about that positive contribution and how it supported the success of Al Medina?
Absolutely. So firstly, thank you very much for having me. Very good question indeed. Look, I think the challenges in Medina are quite distinct. We have obviously a lot of visitors coming in. Getting the infrastructure ready and focusing on the infrastructure is extremely key. One of the big projects, for example, that we've been working on with Amana for the last couple of years is the BRT, the Bus Rapid Transit System, which is a PPP initiative that the Amana basically are leading with NCP. We see that as a major contributor. In fact, within our project in Rural Medina, we're going to have several stops, within this. This integrates into the whole transport system. The transport system itself is integral, right? We've seen obviously with the Harmain railway coming online, some years ago now, and with the expansion announcements of the airport also recently announced that having a BRT is going to be very key to kind of driving the whole success. So we've been working with Amana, other stakeholders, obviously in the city, to make sure that we deliver a seamless experience. As you said, early days yet, for our project, but we're going to be seeing the first of the construction contracts hopefully awarded this year. Work is already commenced massively, which involves many stakeholders on the big arterial tunnels. And we see this being a collective effort, not just from Rural Medina, but also from the city stakeholders as such.
Thank you very much, Nadeem. One of the challenges that mega projects face in Mecca, whether they're private sector or PIF, is often the particular constraints of the market. And so in Medina, construction during the period of Ramadan or Hajj is restricted, same in Mecca. In Mecca, you have particular environmental considerations with Zamzam and the Zamzam water table, which I know is a big issue for Jabal Omar when they did the piling works in the initial stages. So if we turn to you, Sheikh Khalid, these particular and unique constraints of Mecca and the location of Jabal Omar, how do you deal with them? How do you manage them?
First, let's admit one thing, that the big changes happening in the kingdom lately have contributed to a much more maturity to the government role and government bodies in Mecca, which makes the right dialogue, the right escalation, the right discussion into the right platform. So with having this in mind, I think managing and stakeholders, Royal Commission of Mecca, also the other municipality and all other related parties have been the key success here, where you need to have a right agreement, SLA, and accordingly how to manage such a situation. And honestly, we've been lately noticing their willingness and moving from the normal government mindset of defaulting no, as always, to a proactive approach where we are today, putting the problem together, solving the problem, putting the solution, options, and work together on a plan, meeting periodically to update. So that kind of collaboration has helped a lot. So today, easily you can speak to the Royal Commission CEO and easily can get an appointment to escalate, to get things done differently. That is definitely going to have an impact on the ease of business, which we are seeing. And I can see it from the last 2 years that most of the problems that we have, we put them on the table, we get them solved. So that's the change that hopefully we are cultivating today and leveraging more on.
Thank you. And Nadeem, is it the same for you in Medina?
Look, there are obviously times of the year, particularly during the we saw this very recently during Ramadan, right, where the city is under cities at full capacity in a way. We've seen unprecedented numbers this year in terms of people coming into the city. I think if you look at the season this year, the Umrah season, Hajj is obviously going to be coming up soon. We will see numbers probably reaching the kind of 17, 18 million numbers, which are unprecedented. And this, in turn, definitely presents a lot of challenges, which means working with stakeholders, aligning everything. Capacity is a major constraint, and that's further exacerbated by we've seen some closures of hotels. The municipality stepping in, closing hotels that were not meeting the requirements. Some downgrades even actually happening, which is putting further pressure, and people traveling further and further from away from Medina, coming in to Medina during these very, very busy times. So look, collective efforts are required from all stakeholders across Medina, Amana, Baladia, to name a few, where we're going to have to work very closely with the big hotel operators as well, obviously, to really ensure that we deliver the best possible experience. And that will continue as our project comes online as well.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
To add one more
Please.
thing also, maybe our situation is a bit different. Also, some of the projects, the key projects to the prime areas around Mecca, has contributed a lot to the ease of business. So we have this Da'iri has contributed a lot, not to use the same roads that normal pilgrims and people use. That has gave us exactly the right access that we want and contributed positively to this. So that's again out of the investment done by the Royal Commission of Mecca.
Okay. And last question, and I think probably the most interesting, is foreign ownership. And I wanted to understand how important the ability to sell real estate to foreigners is to your project. And I know that, for example, at the end of 2021, the CMA issued a new circular allowing foreigners to invest into real estate funds that held assets in Mecca and Medina. The premium residency visas were introduced to allow holders to acquire a 99-year usufruct right to real estate in Mecca and Medina. And we expect this might perhaps be the beginning of an expanding opportunity for developers to sell the real estate that they develop to the broader market. As you know, 1.8 billion people all want to come and visit Mecca and Medina, and you're developing assets with a captive audience. How important is the ability to sell to foreign investors to you and your project? Sheikh Khalid.
We start feeling so many inquiries, honestly. And the appetite sounds like positive. And everybody is waiting this foreign ownership law, which is hopefully very soon to come. Definitely this will enhance believers in Mecca, will have more access to international funding and investment. And a few who is ready for such an opportunity where Jabal Umar is ready for such products. So the appetite is there. I think we are missing the law and the regulation that enabling Muslims to come and own today. So we see a great potential, and we do believe that it will be a game changer for the industry, hopefully.
Nadeem?
Great question, actually. We see this being a very significant development moving forward. The fact that premium residencies have been introduced, foreigners being allowed to buy, the law almost there. I mean, I was part of some of the discussions that we had when I was earlier working with the Ministry of Investment. this changes a little bit the mix in terms of what Royal Medina are focusing on. So rather than just focusing on hotels, we think that branded residences will increasingly become a very important component of the mix as well. So we're in the process of revising our numbers, looking at what those look like, but they'll only be revised upwards. There's a significant demand from the Muslim world in terms of ownership in both Medina and Makkah, for that matter. And I think once the law is enacted, it comes into play, we'll really see a huge surge in terms of demand. It's not a case of when, it's not a case of if, it's a case of when. But yes, I think this is just around the corner. A lot of groundwork has been done, and inshallah, we'll be seeing some very positive news in this area very soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And in terms of foreign interest, Sheikh Khalid, you mentioned that you've received a lot of inquiries. Are you seeing those inquiries coming from institutional investors, or are they coming from the retail investors who want to buy an end product, or both?
From both, honestly. We've been into a joint visit with the Minister of Hajj to Southeast Asia, and we felt this clearly, that they want to know more about the law and how can they participate from institution perspective, and definitely individuals also there. So it's a matter of time. I think things will go to the right perspective hopefully very soon.
Thank you. And Nadeem, as you revisit the strategy for Royal Medina, how important is the institutional investor that comes in to either participate with you or to develop? What role do they have to play?
Look, in a project of the size that we're at, with kind of 47,000 keys, it's going to be very important to basically get investors coming in, institutional investors coming in. Many models will be looked at, including potentially selling some plots directly, co-investing, or in fact, operators coming in with their own investors as well. So look, we're open to different kind of strategic alliances and partnerships, and we're seeing significant interest. Over the last 3-4 weeks alone, we've had 2 foreign delegations coming in, who we've had discussions with, coming to Medina, visiting us there, and more and more of these type of meetings are actually happening, and we see incredible interest in the projects we have. Look, Royal Medina is one of the projects that we have. We're looking at Dar al-Hijra as a second, and there are some other projects that we see kind of coming online as well in the future. So I think we're gonna see investors, foreign investors, institutional investors, playing an increasingly important role moving forward in both the holy cities.
Nadeem Zaman, Sheikh Khalid Al-Amoudi, thank you very much for your time on the panel. Please thank our panel members.